first borderline. That's the military demarcation line. 2 kilometers south, that's the southern boundary line. 2 kilometers north, that's the northern is going to be only 12 kilometers. That's the way to carry some material by the train from the Kaesong Industrial Complex. What is railroad, the length of the truck.
Welcome to the DMZ. Close to it. We're at the Freedom Bridge, which is a little section of the park, or a park that's located close to the actual zone. As you can see, there's a couple of things, including the old train that's blasted behind me here. They're reminiscent of Berlin in a way. Left intact with bullet holes to give you an idea and a sense of the reality. You can also get a coffee here, which is kind of good. But yeah, there's actually an amusement park, not part of my tour. It's located just a section away from here. A relatively new tourist site in relation to some of the other things you could do in Korea. But you only have 20 minutes here, so I have to hustle a bit as I go through. There are places to get souvenirs and stuff. It's relatively busy despite the fact that it's cold today. You can also get sections of the old barbed wire fence that they've since taken down between the border, along the border here. Although there's no shortage of barbed wire fences on the way to this place as well, so I'm not really sure what the nostalgia value of that is. DMZ Plaza here, you know, it's well kitted out. You can see the bridge, the checkpoint. You can see the old bridge. It's been blasted away. Not entirely sure. She was saying that we're going to a modern train station. I don't believe this is it, because there's just restaurants and souvenir places in here. And at the top, you can get quite the view of the whole zone. That would be North Korea. Right over there. That's a country I'm going to get on my list of places visited, but this might be as close as we get. Of course, you've got your obligatory amusement park. Now, there are cars traveling on that bridge, so I don't know how closed off it actually is, but I'm supposed to get back down to my bus. The bus driver is there, waiting for us to get our asses there. I think this is the last place you can get a souvenir before heading into the other zone, but we shall see. Wish we had a little bit more time to do a shop here, but we gotta get going. So, despite the call to the person who's missing here, I think we should just jet out of here. I think we should just go. Unfortunately, we're staying. This time we're
Okay, all my guests, now we will be the checkpoint very soon, so please ready your passport. All the trucks, so, and then the bridge is called Cow Bridge. So under the unification bridge, you will see the river. That's the Imjin River. The Imjin River flows from the North Korea. That is gonna be flow to the south. And then, you know, everyone from the airport, have you seen the river? That's the Han River. The Han River is the fourth longest river. You know that this was one of the places when the Korean War is known for the one of the blood battlefield. There was a way to go to North Korea and China, but when the Korean War, this black railroad was destroyed. Can you see from here to the Pyongyang? Pyongyang is the capital of North Korea. So from here to the Pyongyang, 205 kilometers. When you are driving, it takes like 3 hours less than. In road condition, maybe 2 hours, but very close. So, but this railroad was, destroyed when the Korean War, and then we rebuilt this red color new railroad because of this place, Daesung Industrial Complex. But 2008, the ladies, the killed, it wasn't allowed to use, this train station. So we never used this one, only trial 2 times. That's the point of the one about the site to, realize that, tense between the Koreas. So I told you that's the big board. So many people donate the money over there. Okay. So actually, people available come this place by the from the Seoul station. From the Seoul station, they can transfer Munsan. So Munsan to 2 more stops. 2 more stops is going to be, in this place. But even railroad connect to the Daesung is from here to only 12 kilometers, but we're trying to build the railroad connected through the North Korea. That's the point of this place. So right now, even the railroad connected to the North Korea, but everyone have to be get the round trip ticket. This is the northernmost train station. They have to go back to the Seoul. You understand?
We are now in Dorsan Station, a modern railway station, only 10 years old, and built as the gateway point to North Korea. It's very odd being in a modern station that actually is not being used at all. The only people here are people from the tour buses. The tracks are right over there. There's nothing going on here. It's a completely vacant and empty space. Dormant of activity. You can see more of that over here. It's just been sitting here, lying dormant for over 10 years, which is quite crazy. We are still in the militarized zone, so there's a limited amount of footage that I can take here. They have pictures of incidents of the past that have occurred, among other things, including DMZ souvenir.
Modern artillery sights are installed, which are capable to strike as far as Suwon City. On the
We are now in the outside observatory of the DMZ. South Korea is this way. No one's looking that way though. But North Korea. Unfortunately, it's a pretty hazy day. It's a sunny day, but because of the haze and the pollution, we have not the greatest view. But we can still see a bit. Visiting North Korea is technically only 4 kilometers that way. You can kind of see, despite the haze, the sun is pretty bright here, so you can kind of see the South Korean flag, the last village that is located in the DMZ closest to North Korea, and beyond that, one of the largest cities in North Korea resides just on the other side of the border. There are a lot of, on a clear day you would be able to see a lot more. You'd be able to see some of the statues that are situated on the mountains, and also the massive North Korean flag that is situated in the city. Today we're not going to get that. Despite the conflict that occurs here, it's pretty well populated compared to, say, some of the rural areas that I've seen in South Korea so far. So it's not, we are in a military zone, but it doesn't seem like it's a no man's land as it's much known as. This is probably the closest I will get to North Korea, of course. Now, I must say, despite the tourists here that are really making most of the commotion, it's a very quiet place. And they very much are respecting of the situation here, it seems. Now obviously I'm not down there to vouch for the fact, but from coming from Seoul, which is, you know, only about 70 kilometers from here to here, it's a completely different world. This is the newest observatory, just opened. The old one, which is where the parking lot is just about 5 minutes walk up the hill, well, down the hill from here. You can see the advantages of this perspective, though. You get a better viewing point. On a nicer day, we also probably would be able to see a little bit more of what's going on in North Korea. But the binoculars are free of charge here, and they actually work for once, which is nice. And you can get a good view of the sights of North Korea, even on a hazy day like today. So, to be honest, because the way that the sun is working today, we've got a crazy nice view of South Korea, which is on this side. And it's still a bit cold, so my fingers are a little nimble, so I'm gonna go back inside and warm up for a second before our next destination. Unfortunately, I can't get any video of that because it's the cave, the third cave, which there's no photos allowed of. But we'll see whether or not I can sneak one or two.
On the left side of the observatory, there is a long road. This road is the #1 national road, or Gyeonggi Road, which is used for the exchanges between
This
the
place
two
still
Koreas. Right next
smells
to it is the
brand
Gyeonggi
spanking
Railroad.
new,
The
which it
#1
clearly
national
is.
road
It's
is
very
used by
nice.
South Korean entrepreneurs
They
to
have
visit
some
the Gaesan
interesting
Industrial
setups
Complex.
here.
The
Kind of feels like a
modern
science
building
center to
front
me,
of the #1 national road
or
is the
museum of
Gaesan
science.
Industrial Complex, a Demilitarized Industrial Complex for mutual prosperity, and the area will be the starting point for a unified Korea. The closest building from our observatory is North Korea's guard post. North Korea dug an underground tunnel to invade South Korea from the back of this guard post, including the third tunnel. A total of 4 underground tunnels have been discovered so far.
So that's it from the Dora Observatory. It still feels like a very surreal place, because despite the barbed wire fence being taken down between the borders, you still obviously have a lot of barbed wire up in an area like this. Like, it's fence after fence after fence. Even though there's still some cooperation and trade between the nations, it's clearly still a heavily militarized zone. In fact, even though this section is brand new, you have just up on the right here a bunker built in, so they're prepared for any type of conflict. And really, there's nowhere here you can go within this area, or even in Korea itself, I've noticed, without there being soldiers present. So, as for example, this bunker built right into this new section. They're prepared for anything at any time. In fact, the road that we just came up, which is just behind me down here, as you can see, is the sun is quite intense right now. The sides of it are littered with mines, so if I was just to walk down that way, that would be the end of my vlogging career for sure. Something about 30% or so have been cleared. The military is in charge of clearing the rest, but apparently that is a job that's going to take some time.
My parents, they didn't decide to come to South Korea with you. And then his relatives said, so when he trying to come to the South Korea, they went to my father's family, and then they're so asking them go together to meet your son who live in South Korea. So my father and my father's side grandpa is there old, so they are worried.
So I'm at the third tunnel here in the DMZ. Unfortunately, you can't take your wallet, your cell phone, cameras, or anything into the tunnel itself. It's 263 meters down before you actually get to the infiltration tunnel itself. If you're over 6 feet or 6 feet, be sure to wear your helmet. I bounced my head off of that thing about, I'd say, 20 times or more. Now, also, if your cardio is not up to shape, you better book a tour with the monorail because you're not going to get back up. It is one steep incline continuously down, and yeah, you're just not going to get back up. There are resting points, however, so if you want to do that, I highly recommend it because that was one of the coolest things I've done in my entire trip. Again, I wish I was able to take some photos, but it's heavily monitored and it's just not worth the risk. So this actually concludes my DMZ tour. We're going to be heading back, so I have about 10 minutes to get myself some North Korean whiskey. I already bought a bottle, but I'm going to buy a second because one's a gift, and I kind of didn't want to relinquish it as soon as I bought it, so I better go get another bottle. You can see the observatory up on the hill there from where we just came. So yeah, that is a wrap from the DMZ with these two characters here. Still watching guard over the area.